Hello, sir.
Hey, Ekene, how buddy?
I do, man. See, I the envy this your baby. Eh?
Your own day there too now, Sam.
No, no. See, well, maybe I need to let it grow. Hmm. I need to let
You
it
need to
grow.
let it go.
Yes.
Why? Don't let it go. It looks good.
No, well. I'm envy this one. Maybe if I let it grow, I will see how it comes out. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you very much for doing this. See, there are so many interesting things happening in Nigeria. So I wanted to talk to you about them. You know, I know. See, our last conversation on the podcast, we talk about so many interesting things. Now we have the election coming next year, and so many things, so many things happening, you know. So I want us to just talk about some of them. I'm here, and I don't know. You guys at home, you have
Uh-huh.
a different view. You are on ground, and I'm here. I see things on the internet. You know, I talked to my brother-in-law, and he tells me, "Hey, election is not on social media," and I agree. Okay, so all I see are mostly on social media. So I want to talk to somebody like you, somebody I know is very reasonable. Okay, that will step back, analyze things, and talk about them. So let's start. Let's start here.
Okay.
By the way, please let's start here. Just introduce yourself to my audience. Let them remember who you are.
Okay. Um, by background, I'm a chartered accountant, and I've
Yes.
spent a chunk of my life in the finance space, uh, close enough to almost 30 years.
Gbolahon,
Yeah.
they don't know who you are. Who are you?
Gbolahon Olojede. That's
Yes.
my
Good.
name. Yeah, like I was trying to say before, I have a background in finance. I'm a chartered accountant,
Mm.
and I've spent quite a bit of time both in the financial services sector. I've been in oil and gas. I've done a bit in newspaper
Finance.
too. I've done a bit in healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm in financial advice.
Okay.
That's what I do. But by the side, I make time to do things that involve citizens' education in the media space.
Okay.
Analyzing political events, analyzing issues about leadership. I'm very passionate about issues of leadership.
Yeah.
So I get involved in all those stuff as well.
Good. Thank you, Gbolahon. So, in the last 1 week, okay, at least, the biggest news is the Tinubu's Muslim ticket. Okay.
Correct.
Now, many people are angry about it. So many things going down. Well, see, I have my view, okay, and the thing is that many people will not agree with me. Okay, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a religious person, but I was a Christian. I was raised in the tradition of Christianity. Okay, I have my view, but tell me what are the views of a lot of Nigerians, and where does that take us to?
Okay. I am Christian. I'm still a practicing Christian.
Okay.
I'm even a worker in my Pentecostal church.
Okay.
So I guess that sets certain kind of background.
Yes.
Nigerians are very religious people,
Yeah,
not
we are.
godly. Meanwhile, there's a difference between being religious and being godly.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my theory has been that if we can get 10% of the religious people in this country to play to the tenets of that religion,
okay,
this country will transform
Ooh.
radically.
Ooh. Okay.
But what we have are religious people. They like the routine. They say we should go to church on Sunday, or we should pray 5 times at the mosque. They like all those routine, and they like to associate with whatever benefit they think comes with being part of a religious body in a religious country.
Okay.
But when it comes to the actual things that those religions are meant to deliver, we are grossly inadequate. Go and look at all the, today you say, oh, somebody has stolen this. The person is either a Christian or a Muslim. Somebody has done this other one. The person is either a Christian or a Muslim. And that is how it is all over the place.
And practicing, okay? Practicing. So they go to church, go to the mosque, all that. Okay.
Some of them are even very generous people to their institutions. Oh, the one who bought us this, the one who gave us this money. But at the end of the day, what do you find? Nothing really in line with the prescription of that religion. Having said that background, there is this thing I call the peculiar arrogance of the two religions, the two major religions, Christianity and Islam. And that arrogance is to pretend, because I believe it's a pretense, that they are the only two religions that are in Nigeria. So when they are talking, they talk in terms of the other religion. If a Muslim is talking about the other religion, it's referring to Christianity. If it is Christian that is talking, it's referring to Islam. But those are not the two religions. Let's be frank with ourselves. There is a traditional religion. There are people who don't even have a religion.
Yeah.
So why should the choices we make be based on those two religions? I don't agree with the basis for saying, oh, we must. But you see, on the flip side too, I know where they're coming from. There's this thing about what you call the tyranny of the majority.
Okay.
The tyranny of the majority appropriate everything to themselves, that majority, and pretend or ignore the minority as if they don't exist. You see this when Nigerians also talk about ethnicity. The big ethnic group will start talking about, oh, this, and that, and that. What about the 200 other ethnic groups? When will it be the turn of the Shekiri man to be the president, or the Bete man from Cross? When? If we are rotating presidency around the ethnic groups, obviously, it will take about 200 years or more.
No. It will take 200 elections.
Times 4. 200 elections. So minimum of 200 times 4 for this thing to go around. So I am of the strong opinion that we need to begin to migrate away from emphasis on the ethnic fault lines or the religious fault line and gravitate towards merit in the choices that we make. I agree, we may not be there yet. Democracy has an evolutionary period. It grows. It is a journey. Even America that started 250 years ago, they are still in that journey.
Yeah.
So maybe at the junction where we are right now, we're not quite there, but we shouldn't allow issues of fault lines to dictate how we choose merit, or how we make decisions, how we choose our leaders. Yeah. That should not be true.
Yeah.
So in the peculiar case of the Muslim ticket of the APC candidate, let me start by saying that the way politicians look at this thing is not exactly the same way that an ordinary citizen might view it. For the politician, the most important thing is the vote. Yeah. And this is not for the Nigerian politician. It is for politicians everywhere.
Yeah, in general, yes.
That vote to become the leader in the first instance. It is after they win an election that they can implement anything they want to implement.
Yeah.
Anything whatsoever. Therefore, in the political calculation of that candidate, it is the Muslim and Muslim ticket that can deliver the vote that can make him a president. In fact, that is what will give him the best shot at presidency. I am not saying it's an ideal situation that this calculation has to be like that.
Yeah.
But that is the reality.
I think that calculation was done after the other political candidate has chosen their own vice president, and they can see that this is what this party is doing. This is what this party is doing. So calculating that this person will take some votes from this, and this person will take some votes. So what alternative do I have to get a bigger margin of votes from the country?
Correct. That exactly is the calculation. So the gentleman must have thought about the fact that, let's take a walk around the 6 geopolitical zone.
Yeah.
Starting from the southeast. If I pick, no matter who I pick as my VP in the southeast, I am not going to win.
Yeah.
If I like, I should go and pick the president of Khan as my VP. I will not win in the southeast. When you come to the south-south, the south-south is the PDP enclave. You know, the rivers of this world, the deltas of this world, and that is where the PDP candidate has come to pick his vice president.
Yeah.
So by voting pattern, historically, dating back 23 years now, that place is not where he can gather the vote. Most of the votes in that region will go to PDP. So come to the southwest. In the southwest people are very interesting when it comes to matters of religion.
Yeah.
They don't take it too personally. No. So most of their families are like 50% Muslim, 50% Christian.
Yeah.
They are already used to that. As a matter of fact, the candidate himself, in his own family, he is the Muslim, the wife is the pastor, and the children are free to choose wherever they want.
Yeah.
There are no compulsion.
Yeah.
So the thinking is that in the southwest, choosing a Muslim candidate is not going to significantly affect my vote. So the real consideration is, how do I get block votes in the north? Getting block votes in the north is sensitive to religion.
Yeah.
The core north, that is northeast and northwest, which is a huge voting bloc in this country, will want a Muslim candidate. When you look at the voting pattern in this country, Northwest deliver the highest number of votes throughout the country. And by the time you even add Northwest to Northeast, it's about 43% of the votes in this country. Just the Northwest and Northeast alone. So a politician doing his calculation knows that to win this election, he must do well in those two zones. There is no, if you don't do well in those two places, it's going to be tough for the candidate to win the election. So that was what I believe informed his choice of a Muslim people. When you come to the North Central, there are some states in the North Central that are sensitive to Muslim ticket, states like Banye. So you might say, okay, I may trade off Banye, but then still in that North Central, you have states like Niger. In Niger state still has a huge Muslim population, so the guy can get some good votes by a Muslim candidate. In Niger, in Nasarawa, he will still get a significant vote. You know, so these are the calculations. Not the guy is not going into this competition to go and lobby for Christian Muslim unification. No, he's going into the competition to go and win.
Yeah.
When you are going into an election to go and win, the number one consideration for you is vote. And it is vote that has determined the choices that I believe that candidate made.
That's it. That's it. See, many of our people do not understand the calculations, okay? And we get very emotional about these things. Like you said, we are at the beginning of the journey, okay, of democracy and nation building, okay? We're still at the beginning. Okay?
Correct.
For me, I hope in a few more elections we'll get to the space and then a few more educated Nigerians, okay, we get to the stage that you say, who is the best candidate? And we don't even ask what religion or what region is this person coming from.
Correct.
Okay? See, that's the ideal.
That's where we need to go.
Yes. Okay. But now we're not there yet. Okay.
We're not there.
Now the politician knows the calculation that will get him the maximum votes, and that's what he's going for. Okay.
Correct.
Now, I talk to a lot of young people on social media. I tell them, yes, you are young. So if you are angry about the things that the way our politics has been played for decades, okay, you want to change it. This is your opportunity to change it by not focusing on the religion, on the region where the candidates come from. Focus on one thing: who can deliver what you, as a young person in Nigeria, want. So
correct.
Just look at the candidates, listen to them, and pick the one that most align with your desires. And
Absolutely.
That's it. Okay?
Absolutely.
See, you young people in Nigeria are the majority. Okay? So let your majority population count. Okay? And if you want to change things, then start changing things from you.
Correct.
And don't look at what anybody else. You do something that will change things. You may not win, but it's a gradual process to change things. Change doesn't happen in one day, you know. Correct. So this is my view.
With you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So see, talking about this, the way things are in our country. See, I want to dive into the impact of federal character in Nigeria society. Okay, in politics, in civil service, in whatever, has federal character has it been good or bad for Nigeria?
Okay, federal character is something that requires careful implementation.
Okay.
It is also not something that is meant to be permanent, in my opinion.
Okay.
Now, when you put together society made up of people, different communities and groups with different backgrounds, you're going to have certain level of inequality. And we've seen this in any heterogeneous society, from Nigeria to America, you see that. So you see subgroups within the society that are not well educated, subgroups that are not well placed in the running of affairs of the country. So what federal character seeks to do is also what things like affirmative action sought to do in America in those early days, you see. But I think we have lost focus in the course of implementing. You see, when you are implementing a policy like federal character, you are also looking at what created those inequalities in the
first
first
place.
instance.
Yeah.
So that you are beginning to heal the foundation of those inequalities as you go along. If a group is not well educated, and that is what makes them disadvantaged, it means you need to address education in that place, not to permanently put them in a situation of whether you score 5 or you score 50, just come because you are from a particular state. No.
And that's what's happening in Nigeria.
That is what is happening in Nigeria. We have now turned what should be an opportunity to build the foundation for equality into an opportunity to perpetuate mediocrity.
Yeah.
So when you say, oh, because you are from this state, therefore 10% is enough for you to enter a university, you're telling people from that state that they are dumb. Interestingly, the people are happy to be dumb. Otherwise, what should have happened is to upgrade, upscale that fundamental problem that created that inequality, so that they become competitive with their other people, and they don't need that affirmative action any longer.
Yeah.
We have not done that. Rather, we have perpetuated mediocrity in the name of federal character.
Yeah.
And I agree that there is no part of Nigeria you go that you will not see a good candidate. But what is important to see is that over several years, some part of Nigeria have remained, I don't know, poor in every indices of development. And nothing more has been done to help them get out of that hole. Rather, we are looking for a privileged situation to put them in the mainstream of affairs. That is not the way to go. The way to go is clear the foundation and let them become competitive with the other people.
Okay. See, Gbolahon, in 1997, my MBA lecturer, my marketing MBA lecturer, I can't remember his name. He's from Ondo. Okay. He addressed this issue because some people were angry about people from the north having advantage because of federal character. Okay. And he said this. He said, no, let's leave it so that more people from that region will be educated. And in time, when people tell them to go and do this, they will be able to think and say, okay, bring your son, let him lead us. Once your son is leading us in front to fight, we'll go and fight. Okay.
Correct.
Now, 1996 is how many years? 28 years, is it? Or 20 what? Okay, 26 or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So that's nearly 3 decades. And remember, this affirmative action started way before.
Correct.
Okay. So at least we have had 2 generations. Okay. They have been on this affirmative action. Yet they're even worse than before.
Yeah.
They have more people below the poverty line. Right. They have more people below the minimum education. I mean, so when would they be able to stand up? It seems to me it's a deliberate action from politicians to keep the youths of this region in perpetual illiteracy and under the poverty line, so that they can use them for whatever they want.
I agree with you 100%. You see, when people start to get educated, they begin to ask questions.
Yeah.
And if you have the politicians from those parts who don't want to be asked questions, they don't want to anybody asking them questions. They just want to run the show as they so desire. They can have a policy not to get these people educated, because that way you can repress them and use them for your purpose as you so desire. Look, if in northern part of Nigeria today, when people send their children abroad to study, okay, let's even start from the idea of the so-called Boko Haram.
Yeah.
So say Boko Haram means Western education is an abomination or something like that. It is forbidding. But in the real sense, ask yourself, forbidding for who? Because the children of the elites in the north are well educated.
Exactly.
They ensure that their children go to school here in Nigeria and they go abroad for study. So for who is Boko now haram? So Boko is haram only for the children of the poor, and not for their own children.
Yeah.
When their own children go abroad, do you know that it is southern children that go abroad and stay abroad?
Yeah.
The north, they ensure that those children, they come back.
Yeah.
Because things are waiting for them along. They're still riding the privileged elite parental that they have. If you have education, they know that anything is possible for you, for the children of the elite from the north. So their children will come back, take beautiful position, and continue the agenda. So it is something that leadership can change when we're able to have, when the North, as the North begin to change leadership towards more positive ones. Like what we saw with, I might not be a big fan of El Rufai when it comes to how he managed the insecurity part of things. I believe he didn't anchor it properly, especially at the outset of that problem. But when you look at what he has done in certain other areas, especially in human development and education in that place, you give it to that guy.
Okay.
And the country needs more leaders like him, or more leaders like the former Emir of Kano, who continue to raise very critical questions.
I love that man. I love that man.
But you know, the system got him.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But those are the things that would change the North. Those are the kind of things that would change the North.
Well, see, I've had a young man from Kano. Oh my God, what's his name now? Sorry, I've forgotten your name. He was on this podcast, and this young man wants other young people in his neighborhood to have the education that he has. Because he sees the value of being able to step back, think about things, and ask questions.
Correct.
He can think for himself. He can decide what to do. He can decide, okay, I will take anything that Gbolahon says, but then it is his decision.
Correct.
Okay, that decision is not because he doesn't know how to. Okay, so I really, really, really want. I don't know. See, I really want our country to be more, to give more opportunities to our young people from anywhere they come from. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Yes, let's talk about the Peter Obi's tsunami. You know, the Obidient tsunami. Can they build a credible party structure before the election? You know,
interesting question. Apart from the game-changing electoral law that we have, because that electoral law has changed the game totally. Apart from that, the only other singular phenomenon that is significant in this upcoming election is this Obi movement. And it is significant for many reasons.
Hold on. Tell me, see, like I said, I'm here in the UK and all I see is on social media. Okay. Correct. So let me ask you the first question. Will you continue what you are saying? Is that tsunami real on ground?
Okay, I will take it on.
Okay.
You see, is a very strong factor for me, not just from the perspective of whether it will win this election or not. I have come, as much as the Obidient do not like to hear that it might not win. From my own experience with politics, you either win or lose, and losing is always part of the option. It can happen. You know, it is significant because we have a third force that is reasonably strong for the past 2 decades. Ab initio, what we have been, you know, we had a situation before where we have the CNC and AMPP also, which were like 3 or 4 fairly strong parties then. But over time, everything became 2 parties, PDP, APC. And we've been running with that for about 3 elections. But now we have a Labour Party showing up from nowhere and having a candidate that is making the waves. Let's now go into the nature of these waves and how that can dovetail into electoral success or not.
Okay.
If you look at the way our elections have been, it runs on these things called political structure. And these structures are built up right from the ward level, from the ward to the local government to the state to the federal. Now, Labour Party does not seem to have much of that. In fact, I don't think they have a councillor. Anyway, so based on the historical party structure, Labour Party, the show will be a calamity, will be disastrous. And we have seen that already in the 2 Guba elections that we saw.
The last one, Ondo, Oshun.
Oshun, yes. In Ekiti, I think it was about 195 votes. In Oshun, it was 2,000 plus votes.
Yeah.
So those were horrendous. And it goes to show that the structures are not there for the party. Now, here is why the Obidient issue is significant. It is not running on the party. In fact, if you say the only project of Labour Party is Obi, you will not be wrong, because that is the only project it has. When you go to INEC website and you pull up the manifesto, a lot of Nigerians don't even know that the manifestos of the party are actually on INEC website. When you go to INEC website and you pull up the manifesto of Labour, you see that it's a socialist party. And Obi, the candidate, is someone who is more interested in the market.
Yeah.
So if you go from that position alone, there is a disconnect.
Yes, that was my first issue with him going to the Labour Party, because I know he's a market-driven person.
Exactly. So once again, let's move around the zones. I think in the Southeast, structure or no structure, Obi will win.
Okay.
And the sentiment is understandable. It is the sentiment that, you know, there's a word that is common in Nigerian politics now, a miloko. When when the candidate of APC said Emilokon, but there is actually an Emilokon concept around Nigeria. It's not just about bats.
Okay.
You know, there's a Miloko in the southeast too, saying it is the turn of the southeast.
Okay.
Even the northeast are saying we've never produced a president. Therefore, our local for them too. So it is all those things are there. So in the southeast, it will have no problem. It will clear the southeast.
Okay.
Come to the south. It might make some impact, but I think that significantly the south is still a PDP zone.
Okay.
And things are not changing as fast as to allow a third force to conquer that zone.
Good.
Come to the southwest. In the southwest, isolate Lagos and the rest of the southwest. In Lagos, Lagos has a huge population of southeasterners. But beyond the southeasterners are also a lot of the middle class who have bought into the obedience movement. See, people are frustrated. They believe that the establishment people have not delivered the dividend of democracy. And they are willing to take a shot at something different. Okay. So that is sweeping a lot of middle class into the obedient group in the Lagos area.
Interesting.
So you might see a significant performance of Labour Party in Lagos. Okay. In the rest of the Southwest, I do not have a feeling that it has caught on. Of course, there are a few very active, active people on social media who say they are obedient, Yeah. But the ordinary citizen on the road, in Ilesha or in Ilorin or in
Ibadan
or in Ibadan, is he obedient? I have not yet seen that feel strongly in those parts. So, which was why I broke Southwest into Lagos and the other part. Now, in the corner, it is not social media that determines voting pattern in the corner. The corner voting pattern is determined by the leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, traditional leaders. Those are the people that drive how people vote in the core north of Nigeria, northwest and northeast. So the question is, are these people driven by the social media? I don't think so. I don't think so. So the chances that the obedient movement will do very well come election, if the election were to hold now, in those places, is doubtful. It's doubtful. In the North Central, there is a bit more enlightened voter population in some of the states. In FCT is a PDP enclave. Literally all the local government chairmen in FCT are PDP people. And PDP won the election in 2019, even at the presidency, despite the fact that APC is the president. They lost FCT to PDP. So PDP is significantly strong in the FCT. Okay. When you come to places like Plateau State, Niger State, in Plateau State, obedient group because Plateau is a cosmopolitan environment. So you may have Labour doing fairly well, and fairly well, in my opinion, does not mean that the two bigger parties will not score more than they are going to do in jobs. So as it is today, the obedient movement, in my opinion, this is my opinion, in my analysis of historical voting patterns and what I understand about these areas, that movement cannot deliver the president.
Yeah, I see. I agree with you. Okay, I agree with you. But see, I'm happy that educated Nigerians are willing to step out from the traditional two parties to look at other candidates. Okay, at least for the presidency. Okay, I hope they will be doing the same thing for other elections, the Senate, the House of Reps, the state House of Reps, and local government and other things. You know, I hope they do that, and I hope either Labour or any meaningful new party are ready to start building their own structure. Okay, like you know, right now without structure, nobody wins an election in Nigeria.
It's difficult, but let me also add, Ekene, that we are still about 8 months to election.
Oh yes. See, I've noticed you say at the moment. Yes.
In politics.
Yes. Good. So let's talk about this man. See, I don't really see. I've never really followed him, but Reno Omokri, you know, he's I've seen a few videos of him on social media, mostly Twitter, complaining about the Obidient followers. Okay, about their harassing him and blah blah blah. See, and someone said that, hey, these are the youths you energized to bully our president, Muhammad Buhari. So now they pivot to Obi, and you are crying. Hey, don't cry. You see, the guy said, you raised us. Okay. Now you're crying because we don't agree with you on this particular point. What's your opinion?
Oh, well, I think he got a taste of the soup he cooked. So he cannot now start complaining. He just needs to work with whatever he has gotten on his lap. You know, I also have not seen him as someone that is that much of principle. I think more or less blows around with the wind.
Okay.
That's the way I see him. Maybe depending on where the money is coming from, or whoever the paymaster may be. Now, there is nothing wrong in seeing himself as a professional who could help certain candidates create media wave.
Okay.
When you're looking at it from that professional side of things, there's nothing wrong about what he's doing. If this time around I pitch my tent with this guy, next time I can decide to pitch it with the other guy. Because he's now lending his professional capability to whoever is willing to pay for it. There's nothing wrong about that, you know. So that is my perception about him. But it's not about any deep or genuine will to install the right leadership. Today is with Jonathan, tomorrow is with Atiku, the other day. So it's all over the place. That's
Well, but he's still a PDP guy, so he's still working with his party.
Still influential. He has a huge followership, and when you have a huge followership on social media, it is something that you can convert to money.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, and that's the way I see the gentleman. He has that followership, and he's able to encash it to make it become money.
What about my former Unilag student president, because he was my president at one point. We were in school together. Shure, what is his complaint about Peter Obi?
Shure has no point in the real sense. I think it's just a troublemaker who keeps looking for who has done what or who has not done what. You saw his response to the recent article interview. As article was,
I haven't seen it.
Yes, he said, how can Atiku pretend that he can fix Nigeria's power situation? Was he not there for 16 years? And, he made some comments along that line.
Okay.
So I see him as a troublemaker who from time to time will pick on certain issues about each of those candidates. However, a robust campaign or a robust political process needs people like him. Let them just pick a matter and then pick and raise it, and let's all react. Or let them bring it to our conscience.
Now you say that. See, the first time he ever wanted to contest for the presidency, a friend of mine told me about it at a party, and I told him, see, Shure is doing very well in his career as a publisher of, Now, I don't want him. See, this is what I told my friend. I don't want him, okay, to jump from holding politicians accountable through his media empire and to jump into politics as a contestant. See, our politics need his work as a publisher.
Correct.
Okay. He can be influential in our politics, in our democracy, doing what he knows how to do.
Correct.
And I told my friend, see, he was a student body president, okay, and he's used to be combative, and that this is what he has been doing in his career as a journalist and whatever, and we don't need that in our presidency. Okay, see, I told myself, if you go out there and look at the history of people who were what are they called now? Revolutionaries, and to join into government, they don't do well. They don't do well.
Two different roles.
See, there are two very different roles. So me, I will never, okay, I will never vote for Shure or anybody like him. But when it comes to the best publisher, I will vote for him. That's what I told my friend. And it seems that my friend has now observed these things himself, and he agrees. So for me, like he said, he's doing well holding these people accountable. Okay. And we need him to continue doing that even more.
That is his role.
In his role, yeah.
All these going every election, you declare that you want to be the president, you score 2,000 votes, and then 4 years after you come again, you score 2002. It doesn't make sense. But apparently, there might be something you and I don't know as well. Because I'm asking myself, what makes a man continue to do that year in, year out without any significant?
Yeah, there must be
something that we don't know that makes it important for him to keep showing up in that competition.
But by doing that, he's is making his brand as a publisher is dwindling little by little. His credibility.
His credibility, because now you are partisan.
We want to have somebody who we see as credible with every statement he makes about any political candidate. Okay,
correct.
Not about you being partisan. Okay, so well, that's my view of him and his work. You know, yeah.
So,
do you believe that Bola Tinubu is healthy enough to contest this 2023 election? And if he wins, do you think he's healthy enough to run Nigeria with all the wahala, the trouble we have?
Very interesting question. Very, very interesting. I must start by saying I'm not in a position to judge his health.
Okay, that's true.
Having known, I don't have access to his medical file.
Yeah.
And I'm also not a medical practitioner. Having said that, however, the way we build secrecy around the health of leaders in Nigeria is appalling.
Yeah.
I remember vividly. I think this was 2004. I was an ordinary resident of the United States, and President Bush was going for a surgery. From the day it was declared that he will be having the surgery, all details were public information. What is the surgery all about? It was public information. Which hospital is he going to do the surgery? Was public information. Who is the lead surgeon? What are the members of the team that will do the surgery? What date is the surgery? What time will it start? How many hours will the surgery take? Everything is public information.
Because he's the number one public servant of the country.
Exactly. When he was being wheeled into the theater, it was public information. When I said, oh, the surgeons have started the surgery. In fact, I remember that surgery took a little longer than the number of hours that were budgeted. That became another public information that apparently the surgeons are still, and were working on him, and it took maybe like another 2 hours more. When he came out of surgery, it was public information. When he was recovering, it was public information. In Nigeria, President's health situation is shrouded in mystery. Why? We don't deserve to know what his problem is. And we have cut that across also to other political leaders. Yeah. When people, I believe things like the health of the candidates that is giving some segment of the society some concern is something we need to pay attention to. Yeah. And it should be addressed. It should be addressed. The way I think we can begin to address it is by ensuring that everybody have opportunity to engage the citizen in an interview or in debate. Some stretching debate, two hours kind of situation.
Yeah.
Those kind of things will show forth the capacity as far as health is concerned to run this country.
Exactly.
Because this country needs a healthy president. I'm not saying you need the kind of physical attribute that a construction worker will need.
No.
That's not what we're talking about. But the work of Nigeria is not the kind of work that we are currently receiving from the president. The current president, in an interview a few months ago, told us that working for 6 or 7 hours is a problem for him. He told us just about 2 weeks ago that he was already tired. He said that he's tired. So he's just waiting for that May 23rd to come. We don't want that, because the duty of a president now is like an 18 hours a day job.
Yes.
So
see,
the guy
an investment banker, that's what he needs to be.
Exactly.
An investment banker.
That is it. That is why it is important for us that we resolve, we get the comfort, the necessary comfort about the health of the APC candidate. More importantly, there's a possibility that he may be the one that will win.
Yeah. Anybody who is contesting has a possibility to win. Exactly. Yeah, and he does.
That is why we need to know, so that when we vote for a president, it is that president that will run the show, not that we will have a president who is not healthy and it is someone else that will run the show for him. I am not saying he's not healthy. That is where I started from.
Yes.
I have no access to his medical file. I'm not a medical personnel, and I cannot judge his health.
Yeah. Ooh, see, I remember the last time you were here, we're talking about a motion that was brought to the Senate. A particular senator was trying to read it out, that came from the diaspora, and the deputy president, Senate president, cut him off, saying that people like me living outside Nigeria do not have the right to bring a motion to the Senate. Wow. That's just about a year ago. Okay. Now we have a presidential candidate, who is like me. He lives abroad. And I heard he has been living abroad for 5 years. So I can't bring a motion to the Senate, but Atiku, just like me, can contest to be the president of Nigeria. How does that work? Hey, tell me. Huh?
Well, yeah, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than the others. That's what is playing out. Sincerely speaking, I ask myself from time to time, why does he live in Dubai?
Yeah. Okay.
Why does he live in Dubai? You want to be president of Nigeria. You are going to run Nigeria, and you decide to go and be living in Dubai. How do you begin to have the right level of engagement and understand what is going on in the country?
Nigeria, yeah.
How do you begin to have what I call a shop floor walk? Because it is in the manager walking on the shop floor that he begins to understand some things that do not appear in reports.
Yeah.
If all he has been doing is only listening to his lieutenants, then he probably doesn't know 10% of what the problem is.
Yeah.
Knowing what the problem is involves engaging with the ordinary citizen, involves being on the shop floor. So I don't understand how the gentleman who lives in Dubai 90% of the time would say he understands what the issues are beyond what he reads in the paper and what his lieutenants tell him.
Yeah. I mean,
it's unfair on you. It's unfair on you.
Yes. See, the right now, the Conservative Party of the UK is trying to vote in a new leader. Okay, and Sunak, the young man who is one of the this young man, Sunak, because his family is rich, courtesy of his wife, okay, is a multi-millionaire. Now, his opponent is accusing him of not having the knowledge of ordinary people. Okay, because he's living the high life as a rich person. Hey, this is a guy who is in the country, who has been in government, okay, but yet we are accusing him of not knowing exactly how I feel.
Yeah, where the shoe pinches.
Yes, and now Nigeria may have a president who has been living outside the country for half a decade, okay, living in a good, luxurious lifestyle.
Well, those will be some of the questions.
Yeah. Go on. You're saying something.
Those will be some of the questions we'll be asking him when the engagement continues and become more robust, especially when the campaign is official by September. We'll ask him, you've been there for 4 or 5 years. How do you hope to come and run this country when you're not even in touch with us beyond reading the internet and getting reports from your lieutenant?
Now, something else. Nigeria, maybe I'm wrong with this stats, but I think at least 70% of our population are below the age of 35. Okay. And the world is so different. The technology advancement is so massive, and it continues increasing. Our current president, I'm not sure he knows how to log into this platform. I mean, I won't blame him. My father is 77. He can because he has been involved in doing this. He has been doing this for as long as maybe 15 years. Okay, so he can do some things, but there's so many things he can't do.
Correct.
Okay, now we have 2 new candidates who are contesting, who are very close or maybe older than this our current president. Why should Nigerians with a demography that is 70% below 35 continue allowing the older generation to run the country when we need young people to handle things that is facing us?
Okay. The world has changed, and leadership across the world, for the most part, is migrating from the older people to the younger one.
Yes.
So from Canada, even the UK, to several parts of the world, New Zealand, everywhere you see these young people coming up that we can entrust with statehood. And in Nigeria, it's not as if we do not have young people too in that caste. But you see, they have to get involved.
Yeah.
That is number one. Because there is this sing-song about how the old people just need to leave and let the young people take over. It doesn't happen anywhere. They don't leave. It is the young people that get in and begin to take over. Not that the old people will say, oh, okay, we are not doing politics anymore. We are leaving this. It won't happen.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. So in Nigeria, we have a very young population that has not been actively involved. In fact, for the first time since about 2.5 decades that this republic started, it is currently that more young people are showing interest, even in voting at all.
Yeah, that's true.
It has either been apathy. They don't care. They would rather watch EPL on election day.
Yes, Chelsea.
That is it. So as we begin to show more interest, this time around, it is showing interest in voting. By the next electoral cycle, you might see more people getting into partisanship, actually joining parties.
Yeah.
This is how the youth can begin to use their population to negotiate their way. There is no party in Nigeria, whether PDP or APC, that the young people that are about, maybe they are 40, 50 million, I'm just being conservative now, 50 million voters that are young people, you come to any party and say, I have 50 million followers. These are my time for coming to your party. They must listen to you now. They must listen to you. So the young people now have to begin to use this population to negotiate their way into the mainstream of Nigerian politics. This is how they can begin to take over. The old people are not going to walk away. They will not.
Exactly.
They will. Even in the US, of course, we know how it is in the US. The last two, we know the ages of the last two presidents.
Yes.
And that has not stopped US from being a leading innovation country.
Yeah.
Because despite the old age of the man there, his own is just to provide the leadership. He knows where to call in the young people to serve, to take certain roles that he himself cannot take.
Yeah.
You know, so those ones will also be there. And in that same US, if you go to the assembly, the lawmakers, there are lawmakers who have been there for 50 years. They are not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Now there they will die. That's the reality. That's the reality. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So young people must be the one to lead themselves into that space and gradually take over that.
Very good. That's very, 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 very essential. You said this. Now, let me take it back to the Western world. See, because we Africans and other Black people complain that we don't have representation. Okay. Just like you just said, the same reason is that we don't put ourselves out. Okay. No organization or party will come to your house and drag you out to come and become a candidate in their party. We need to go out, get involved in the community, okay, and say to visit the parties and tell them, hey, I'm interested. If we don't do that, nobody will beg us to be involved. So that's very important. It's important that you said that. Okay, thank you. During this time that we have been saying, get your PVC, get your BBC, you know, many of the youths who are in tertiary institutions has been home. Okay. And they have gotten their PVCs at home. Okay. Now, maybe I'm just thinking, okay, the government and ASUU will finally agree to go back, for them to go back to work, maybe 2 weeks before the election. So what process has INEC put in place for those students, okay, who got their PVCs at home to vote in school, if they are in school? I suspect they would have put some process in place to allow them to vote or to transfer their registration to one place or to the other. Assuming even you registered in this house and in Bariga, okay, you register when you're living in Bariga, and you moved to Alagbado 2 weeks before the election. What happens? do I need to go back to Bariga to vote?
No, you won't be able to go because there is no movement on election days in Nigeria. Several things still has to be done about the electoral law. I must admit that we have come a very long way, and the electoral process has continued to improve, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. One of it is what you have just said. Those kids will actually not be able to vote. Yes, you cannot. You see where you indicated when you collected your card, when you registered, informs where your polling booth will be.
Yes.
So if you leave that place and have to be in another location, you won't be able to vote unless you transfer.
Okay, so there's a transfer process.
There's a transfer process.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I believe that at some point, we will need to be able to have some sort of what I would call a roaming voter, where the process that is involved in this transfer will not be a long process. As it is today, the transfer of where you're going to vote, it's not something you can do the snap of a finger. Yeah. So even if you go online and you initiate it online, there are still some processes before your card is printed.
How long would that take?
I can't say specifically, but what I can get, how I can guess is people that are registering now, they are being told that they will get their card around October.
Wow.
Okay, so you can do the math and say, oh, if I want to do a transfer, say around October, I may not get that card by the time the election comes. And you need that card to vote. So these are some of the gaps that are still there that we will need to fix over time. So in this election, if you're going to vote, the best thing for you is be around where your card says you are going to vote.
See, this is the issue for me. This is it's a big issue.
It's a big issue. See, the other part as well is, in some other parts of the world today, there are no restriction of movement because election is going on.
See, when a voting day, most times I don't remember because I can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere.
Okay. Your vote. See, the last voting day, that was 2 months ago. Yeah, my friend, who is a registered Labour Party member and a local councillor in my town, okay, she just called me that day, and then she asked me, "Have you gone to vote?" Voting?
Like,
oh my God! I didn't remember today is election day. Okay, unfortunately, I didn't know the candidates, and I didn't like to vote if I don't know the candidate, so I didn't go. But my voting place is less than 5 minutes away from me. Okay, in fact, if I drive, it's less than a minute. Okay, so now see, this is why I thought about this, because I know that parties and politicians are always trying to, unfortunately, limit the number of the electorate that will not support them. Okay, they do it in the US, unfortunate, and we do it in our country. See, I know that the biggest block of people who are current dominant parties in this coming election don't want are the youths who think differently from the previous era. and they are mostly the youths who are in school, who are angry about having been at home for months and months, okay, and most likely would not vote for the ruling parties, okay. So it just occurred to me that maybe
there is a game
somewhere. They would just allow them to register, and then 2-3 weeks before election, school opens, and all of them excitedly go back to school, and they learn the day before election that they won't be able to vote.
Well,
it's a good strategy.
Yes, recently it was found out that some PVCs were buried. I think it was somewhere in the south. PVCs of people were being dug up from where they were buried. So it lends credence to what you were saying about how politicians sometimes want to prevent certain people who, if they think may not vote in their favor, from being able to vote in the first instance. So, and they know that if you don't have a PVC, you cannot vote. However, we need to begin to migrate away from this approach. I mean, this is talking to politicians now. If I am a politician, I need to be able to educate those young guys and take them away from anger. Because see, like the current Minister for Work said, anger is not a strategy.
No.
So I want to be able to challenge the youth to say, now this leadership has failed us again. We've been on, the school have been shut down for 5 months. But then it was shut down for almost a year, just 2 years ago. It was shut down 7 years ago. It was shut down 9 years ago. It was shut down 15 years ago. It was shut down 20 years ago. It was shut down 30 years ago.
It was shut down for almost a year in my final year in school.
You see what I'm saying? From military to PDP 1, PDP 2, APC, the schools have continued to be shut down. So there is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
I want to listen to this candidate and find out if there is any one of them that has a solution to that problem.
Yes.
Otherwise, if I just vote in anger, I vote a new person, we might just continue the same thing we've been having for the past 35 years.
Yeah.
And I would not have done anything. That is why anger is not a strategy. Rather, engagement is better. I want the young people to be able to put all these candidates that are saying they want to be president, put them on the spot. Let them speak to education problem. Let's listen to them. What is your solution to the perennial, never stopping
ASUU strike?
What's the solution to it? That is better than voting in anger.
Yeah. Now, that is very important that young people understand that, like you said, anger is not a solution to any of our problems. Okay. But coming back to my question. Okay. Now, anybody who listens to this, who have registered to vote at home, well, I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay? I'm just giving you a heads up. If you really want to vote and you are registered at home, you must be willing and ready to come back home. If school is open by the time of the election, you must be ready to come back home and vote. Otherwise, your registration and PVC doesn't mean
useless.
Anything. Okay?
Right.
See, for me, if the transfer process is difficult, I hold INEC responsible, and I hold the government responsible, and I hold the two main parties that have been running the government for 20 audience responsible. Okay, because in this era, when everything is online, this process should be instant. At least take maybe 2-3 days and it's done.
It should be the same way we can get our ATM card.
Yeah.
The same way, I mean, I still remember my driver's license back in the US.
Yeah.
Somebody will just drop it in my box.
See, if I change my address, okay, all I need to do is go online to see service or both private and government change my address. And if I need to get a card, if I need to get a registration, whatever, within a week, maximum, within a week, I'm done.
It's that.
Okay, so the onus is on me. The onus is on me to do my own part. Okay, once I've done it, it's done. And if the government is not enabling that to be done, then I hold them responsible. But young guys must be ready to do what it takes to.
Unfortunately, so it's part of the further improvement in the electoral process that must be done. INEC must see this as a journey. People must be able to register and get their cards without struggling.
Yeah. Wow. So let me ask you something happening in Asia, Sri Lanka. Okay. You see, democracy and economics are things that we can learn from other people who are practicing democracy and economics, which every country does. Okay, so the issues with Sri Lanka, okay, both economic, social, and political, okay, can happen in Nigeria. Okay, and if anything like that happens in Nigeria, because Nigeria is even more diverse than Sri Lanka, okay, in terms of the people, you know, and their views of things, it might get even worse than that. So what take have you heard about the issues happening in Sri Lanka? By the way, they have elected a new president a few days ago. So, yeah.
Well, we cannot say that what is going on in Sri Lanka cannot happen in Nigeria, because those things, nations don't get to that point overnight.
No.
They get there gradually in the several uncaring ways. Democracy is something that must be nurtured.
Yeah.
And the people must be watchful. If you're not watchful, it gets destroyed. The world, from America to, I mean, especially Europe, the European world has seen democracy being destroyed in two seasons.
Oh, yeah.
First World War and Second World War.
Yeah.
In those seasons, there were certain things that started to happen, and people were not paying attention to them until they came and they destroyed literally all the democracies of that.
Yeah.
It happened again in the Second World War. And guess what? When people sleep again, it can happen. And it can happen to any jurisdiction.
Yeah.
And it is the more reason why Nigerians must watch our democracy. We must be on top of it. Tyranny emerges. In fact, I'm currently reading a book. It says on tyranny, 25 lessons from from the 20th century. Very, very, very important. In fact, if I have my way, it's a book that every Nigerian should read. Because what you will do is that it puts you on your toes about those things. Watch out for. If you don't watch it, tyranny will just arrive.
Yeah.
Have a Sri Lankan situation where the Minister of Finance is the brother of the son of the president. And what kind of nonsense was all that was going on? But if we're not careful, we're close to it.
Yeah.
All those issues of nepotism has been getting to certain levels where you look at this person and you see that there's a connection somewhere. You look at that person, if we allow it, we will also get there.
Yeah.
One of the key issues with Sri Lanka was also economy. And what is going on with us as well involves the economy.
Our debt. I mean, crazy.
Yes. It is crazy. Now, discussing Nigerians' debt is one of my favorite topics.
Yes, I saw your post on Facebook. And your debate with Jeku. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about well subsidy. Yes. Nigeria today, with about $100 billion in debt, it looks like it's a whole lot. And actually, it has become a whole lot and not sustainable. Why did it become unsustainable? It became unsustainable because debt servicing and debt repayment is done from your revenue.
Yeah.
And that revenue is very poor. So once you have a bad revenue level, it is what would dictate how much you should borrow. Otherwise, you borrow yourself into debt, into insolvency.
Yeah.
And that is what Nigeria is pushing itself into right now. Last quarter report, we were told that the amount spent in servicing debt was more than the total revenue, the aggregate return revenue of the federal government of Nigeria for that same period.
And for me, it's shameful that this is happening just before a new administration comes to power. Okay, it limits the flexibility for the next
capacity of the new administration to be able
next
to
guy.
take up. Yes, there's going to be a burden on him.
Yeah,
so he's going to struggle. He's going to have an inertia when he comes in. In fact, we need to. I don't know what we're going to do, but I just wish that at least the good oil price will stay on a little bit. Can you imagine that this country is not making money with a high price because we are not even able to produce what we're supposed to produce? Our OPEC quota, we are not able to meet it. So oil price is good. There was a time that this government would say, oh, when I came in, oil price was not good. That was why I had the problem. True. Oil price was not good, but oil price is good now.
Well, for me, this is I don't like to belabor all the issue about oil. Okay, Nigeria should have been diversified a long time ago. Okay, we've had the opportunity for at least 20 years to leave the story of oil price. We have the capacity, okay, and we refuse to do it.
The discussion around diversification becomes popular in Nigeria anytime oil price crashes.
Yeah, and when it rises, forget.
Not there. No, it is this oil that has been giving us problem. We need to diversify. And truly, we may start to make some steps. Immediately, that oil price starts to improve.
Boom, forget.
All these ideas are thrown to the gutters, and we start to spend oil money. But things have even gotten much worse with the oil money because we're not able to make money from the oil. We're not producing. A lot of stealing is going on. Pipeline vandalism is all over the place. So the country that used to produce 2 million is now doing 1.4 million. What kind of a country is that? And after, don't forget, Ekene, that after today, that crude oil sale still is a source of the chunk of our foreign exchange earning. Like 90% of our foreign exchange earning. Still
imagine that.
So if we are not able to produce, it shows that our foreign exchange earning is curtailed. So the stability of the naira will continue to be at stake because we won't have the money to fight the price in the market. Another question, are we supposed to be fighting the price?
No. Exactly.
We're supposed to be producing and then earning so that we don't fight. It is a work of our hands that we do the fight. So the economy is...
Wow.
You don't have a CBN governor who is a party member. A partisan person is a CBN governor.
Yeah.
And we don't even seem to think something is not right about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Gbolahon. See, I'm always happy to speak with you. And you have educated my audience today, man. See, we can continue talking for the next 2 hours about the issues around Nigeria. You know, it's good. It's good we talk about this.
Yes,
it will be even better if younger Nigerians than us get this message and they decide to do their bits to expand this message and to do something about it. You know, Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, man. Bye-bye.